holdtheline.com. It's got the Liberty Bell.
The Liberty Bell.
Fight for freedom with other inscriptions. It's got key quotes from true Americana history. This is
January 5th, the night of we're about to go into another one of these constitutional dates, January 6th tomorrow, and we still don't have an outcome for the United States of America to not have the outcome of an election. For our ability, all the capabilities that we have, I have actually been part of taking over countries or running elections in countries, in other countries around the world. We say, hey, be more like us, act more like us. In fact, we're going to show you how to do an election in your country, Iraq, in your country, Afghanistan, in your country, name the Central American country in the 80s and the 90s. So anyway, this is embarrassing.
No, I totally agree with you. And under the U.S. law, under the State Department of the UN, if they're not poll watchers, if there's not
they found nothing. What they knew is that I knew what they knew. Okay, and I think that's a powerful statement. Actually,
say that again. Exactly. Say that again. You knew what they knew.
What they knew is what I know what they know. Okay, I mean essentially how this system operates. When Chuck Schumer said that the intel about Donald Trump, and he said that they have 6 ways to Sunday, right? The intelligence community have 6 ways to Sunday to basically screw you. Then that ought to send a message. That ought to send a chill down everybody's spine, right? In this country, that should never be the case. Yet that is in fact the case, and it's still the case in some degrees. To some degree. So let's talk about that, because I know the direction you're going to go.
Well, my point is,
this is super important. We have 3 co-equal branches of government, okay? But if you read the Constitution, there's one person that gets voted on by the majority of people in this country. That's the President of the United States.
He's a leader.
When the President puts his hand on the Bible, when he takes his oath of office, there's only one person in this country that takes that oath of office.
It's not a unitary executive. The President has like 1% above it.
The President of the United States, so you have 3 co-equal branches, but the President is actually, he's not a branch. He is a person voted on by the majority of this country. And it's not by happenstance that the oath of office that the President of the United States takes, if you go back and you look at the Founding Fathers and the arguments that they had actually, and for those that want to dig into it, it's Federalist Paper number 73. And you look at it as to why they chose those words. Because the President of the United States has a responsibility to protect the Constitution. Everybody else can scream about it. The courts can say, we're not going to do anything about it like the Supreme Court did. But the President has the responsibility, the duty, and the authority to act. And it's above the others because there's something called national security. And national security, for all intents and purposes, is the responsibility of one person, and that's the United States President.
And that's the will at the moment of the attack.
Exactly.
That's why the President has a new code, because you can't have Congress have a vote.
Everybody around the President tells him is trying to tell him what to do. Everybody is trying to tell him what to do. And the President has to stand there in his own boots, like Abraham Lincoln or George Washington or other presidents that we've had in our history who have had to make incredibly difficult decisions. He is in one of those moments, I call it a crucible moment in the history of this country. Unprecedented. Donald Trump is standing in those shoes, and he's standing in those shoes by himself.
And that's why you were there a few weeks ago. They desperately try to keep the President, because it's true. It's a Chi-Com globalist takeover, and the President is standing at that moment in history, not as an authoritarian, as a liberator.
They don't care that they got caught either. So
remember that while Jim Jordan is going around trying to subpoena people for the failed impeachment, he is still dodging a valid subpoena for his role in J6. Yeah.
That's the other thing about this. It's like when people in this country, they can't fathom what's happening. They kind of look at it and go, oh my God, what's going on? I don't want to lose hope. These people don't care that they got caught. And you know why they don't care? Because nobody's ever held them accountable.
I agree.
For anything.
They've never gotten in trouble. That's the key. No retribution, no accountability. So how do we hold them accountable?
So, well, this president's going to continue on in office. They do not want that to happen. They're going to try every damn thing that they can. The intimidation tactics that we saw against Josh Hawley's wife is just a scratching of the surface. The kind of stuff that we see with, let's talk about my little buddy, Representative Swalwell, okay? Wow, big time. He's a member of the Intelligence Committee. He spent for 4 years bashing the president for treason. The kind of language that he used against me and my family. And this son of a gun is sleeping with the enemy. Because you know what? He's got no morals. And frankly, the spies that sucked him in because of his weak fiber, they know that they have no morals as well. That's how they operate. So I bring up Swalwell, just like I look at what they did to one way or the other. And if you want to be on the other side of the truth, then woe betide you, because I'm going to tell you, these people are not going to settle for something that was a lie. They're just not. I mean, I can feel it. You can feel it. The million people that are out there on Tuesday night in the rain, they feel it. They feel it. The millions and millions of people around this country, they feel it.
Well, General Flynn, I saw you in speeches with Trump in closing. They're always great speeches, but you seem to be on fire. Seems like you're just being yourself now. You're all out.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Hell, I waited 4 years. I suffered for 4 years. And actually, when people say to me, I feel so sorry for you, I tell them, don't feel sorry for me. Don't have any pity on me. Feel sorry for this country, because look at what they've done. Look at what they did to me to take me away from being able to do something I'm very capable of doing. Look at what they did to the President of the United States, and they're still doing to him. This fraudulent election is it's basically another stage in this effort to get rid of somebody who stepped in their way and got in their way to take power from them for a period of time. They want power back.
Exactly. It's not that Trump means well, he's not perfect, neither am I or you, but he was actually being the president. And they're mad. They're like, no, you're not the president. This bureaucracy is.
Right. And that's what people in Washington, D.C. have forgotten. Is that, and I said it earlier, these are people that are here in these institutions, and they actually think that they come to work every day and they work for the institution. They don't work for the institution. All these bureaucrats here in Washington, D.C., and I'm looking at a lot of them because they know, a lot of them know me. And they know that I call them wall walkers in some cases, because they walk along the walls and they don't want to be bothered. They just want to come into work and leave work, and nobody's going to task them for anything. Okay? The institutions work for the American people, and that's what we have forgotten in this country. These institutions of government, these institutions of power, it has been going on for a long time, Alex, and you can say, well, we've had these kind of examples for a long time, and that's true. That's true, but all of a sudden, it's now been exposed in such a way, and there's a takeover of our country by these institutions and by these powers outside of our country.
They've sold us out to China and others. They think they own us. We're saying, no, the book.
Well, here's what I would say to people. If they want to help this cause, you go to defendingtherepublic.org. Defendingtherepublic.org. And that's Miss Sidney Powell's fight. She's her client. Sidney Powell's client is the American people, and that's why I'm here, too, because she helped me, and I'm going to stand right by her side. And
Americans shouldn't run from those that are attacked like you or I.
Very influential. Millions and millions of people around this country, they feel it.
Well, General Flynn, I saw you.
That we won. They know that we won. And so what they're saying, what they're telling Washington, D.C., what they're telling their federally elected representatives, and members of the House and the members of the Senate, is that we're here to tell you that you better follow the truth, because the truth is what is going to come out one way or the other. And if you want to be on the other side of the truth, then woe betide you, because I'm going to tell you, these people are not going to settle for something that was a lie. They're just not. I mean, I can feel it. You can feel it. The million people that are out there on Tuesday night in the rain, they feel it. They feel it. The millions and millions of people around this country, they feel it.
Well, General Flynn, I saw you in speeches with Trump in closing.
Another really annoying thing is the reason why his voice is echoey. Okay, this is the same mic I use. This is the Re 20. This is way too far away from his face. This is a dynamic microphone. It needs to be way closer. He's like 2 feet back from this at least. Okay, he's all over the place. There's no way that you're getting good sound quality using this microphone at this distance. At this point, use a fucking clip-on. Use a goddamn clip-on. Why?
It's all will.
Anyway.
Of course, we've seen that video. We played it for you here. Non-lethal force in effect. The barriers are continually being assaulted by the Patriots as they move ever closer and surround an ever greater number. The Capitol building in Washington, D.C. punches, mace being thrown. And again, the only thing preventing us from getting more videos right now is the fact that the sheer mass of humanity overloads the cell phone towers and it becomes impossible to get access to the internet or even to call in. We're going to try to get the stream of Alex Jones and Owen Schroyer as they continue to approach. It looks like blood on the ground. I'm not sure if that's blood or something else, but it looked like a great deal of human blood on the ground in front of the police line as police continue to lash out and attack there in full riot gear, full armor. Patriots, no sign of stepping back or slowing down as they continue to push towards these police lines. Of course, inside this building right now, the debate rages. Adam Schiff presenting some sort of illiterate nonsense that we don't need to hear. Patriots storming the U.S. Capitol. An amazing video from the real Hursty via Kitty Boomhauer on Twitter. These are the people we rely on to get this up-to-date video because, folks, if you were watching Fox News or Newsmax or CNN, you would receive nothing but a bland feed of essentially nothing going on. Instead, we are giving you live up-to-the-minute videos that are coming through over Twitter from the live independent reporters there on the ground. Thousands, hundreds of thousands of people right now moving towards the Capitol. The mass of humanity continues to grow as the police lash out their thin line of armored officers, a pitiful resistance against the literal tidal wave moving towards them.
Pitiful resistance of a literal tidal wave. What? Wait, so are you saying that the police officers were overwhelmed and that's why the people got into the building? Huh, I thought they let them in. Crazy.
And we'll continue to monitor all of this and get more videos as well, folks. Guys, do we have a feed of Alex and Owen moving towards, or is that gone down because of the cell phones? This is all up to the minute, folks. The crew.
This has to be, whoever I play, I have to play this video. Where this is how conservatives covered it on the day of. It'll be just this. It's starting at like 60 minutes. It's such an unbelievably scathing indictment of the change of candor that they've had with respect to this.
Who's working frantically behind the scenes to get all of this up to date. Once again, this is coverage that you will not get anywhere else. And all of this broke out almost immediately following President Trump's statements. Is this the live feed of Alex and Owen? Can we hear them?
Ooh, and even the causal connection. All of this broke out almost immediately after President Trump's statements.
And you see the crowd moving towards the Capitol now. Owen and Alex at the head of a column of humanity.
What's even the point of the people that say police were letting them in? If we assume that's true, why were they going into the building if not to start? No. The reason why so that point exists because Tucker Carlson, whether it's because he has no loyalty to the country and Constitution and wants to destroy the United States of America, or if he was being paid by a foreign actor who wants to destroy the United States of America, decided that he was going to work with another treasonous anti-American individual, I believe it was Jim Jordan, to take a whole bunch of footage directly from the Capitol building, and then he spliced together a special edit that made it look like the entirety. I've never actually watched this video in its entirety. What? Does anybody have a link to the entire Tucker Carlson J6 video? I've seen like clips of it. Where is the full 351? Is this it? Is this how short it was?
All right, a bit of a fact check this morning after.
No, I don't want to watch somebody else's. I want to see, what was the video that Tucker Carlson showed? Was it this?
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. One of the hallmarks of people who are telling the truth, in case you were wondering how to tell the difference, is that people who are telling the truth are calm. They don't wave their hands around and make wild accusations. They don't need to do that.
Is this there was an episode that he did where he took a ton of footage that he got from a member of Congress. I think it was, I want to say it was Jim Jordan, but I might make that up. Tucker Carlson, J6 footage. March 8th, 2023. When did this come out? March 9th, 2023. Okay, so this is the episode, I think. Oh, it was McCarthy. It was Kevin McCarthy from the House. By the way, they said they were going to release all 40,000 hours of this footage. Where is it? McCarthy's office said that it is still working out the process to make the footage more widely available, but did not comment further. We've seen none of it, by the way. None of it. None of that, except for what Tucker edited together for us.
It's enough to say what they know. And if honest people turn out to be wrong about something they have claimed, they'll admit it. They don't double down on false. They made a mistake, and that's okay. It's not like they're claiming to be God.
Liars behave differently. Liars are touchy, sometimes to the point of hysteria. They're hiding something. That's the whole point of lying. And they're worried you're going to find out what it is. Liars are fragile because over time, liars, they didn't apologize. They weren't even curious to learn more about what actually happened on January 6th. Let's see the tape. No, they don't want to see it. They exploded in rage. And then, as liars tend to do, they doubled down. They told the same lies they've been caught telling, but with even greater aggression this time. Shut up, it's midnight, they said as the sun rose behind them. Who acts like that? Well, sociopaths do. And in this case, the sociopaths turned out to be both Democrats and Republicans. The commitment to lying in Washington is far deeper and more bipartisan, even than we realize. We follow this stuff for a living. Now, you sometimes hear people say that the whole partisan system is an illusion, and that underneath the manufactured debates, the leaders on both sides are in fact secretly united in a common love of money and power, and the deception required to get them. And honestly, we can never really bring ourselves to believe that. It's just too dark.
The funny thing is that, like, if these people weren't retarded, it would be like, imagine you have two countries. Imagine you have two countries, okay? Like, the problem is, if you think about it, and if you were writing not fan fiction, if you were writing, like, good fiction, if you wanted to have, like, a compelling movie, and you were just trying to jerk off the elites or evil, what would real conspiracies look like for people that were, like, in charge of a country? It would probably be rigging and fucking over other countries. That's probably what you would do. Why would you destroy your own country? How retarded would you have to be? Wouldn't it be more like this would be a more believable conspiracy among evil bureaucrats in a country is, wow, notice how Toyota and Honda cars all seem to explode randomly, and then you find out, oh shit, people at the EPA were putting explosive devices in the engine to blow them up so that American cars would start outselling foreign cars. That makes sense. Oh, you're corrupt and rigged bureaucrats, and you want to destroy foreign competition because you know that like that. Why would you destroy your own country? Why would you destroy your own country unless you're working with, like, a foreign enemy? Like that. It doesn't even make sense. Imagine you've got two countries and you've got corrupt leaders in both countries. Which country is going to do better? The corrupt leaders that try to destroy their own country, or the corrupt leaders that just fuck over the other country? It doesn't even make sense. Why would you do this?
But now we do believe it because we have seen it. Consider the death of police officer Brian Sicknick. And we still don't know exactly and move on, but they won't. In fact, this week, the White House trotted out both the press officers their lives.
It was a violent attack on a fundamental tenet of American democracy, that power is peacefully transferred from one administration to another. Over 100 officers were assaulted on that day. 5 officers died.
5 officers died on that day. I don't want any detail. Or assaulted, that is true. This is an event we all remember. Antifa descended on Washington, D.C. to force the sitting president from office. But it was Trump, so that's cool. And while they were there, they set a historic Christian church on fire, St. John's in Lafayette Square. Do you remember that? You should, because it happened Labor Day weekend less than 3 years ago. And when it happened, the left-wing mayor of Washington, D.C. refused to allow her police department, the MPD, to assist Secret Service agents while they were under siege and getting beaten. No, she made her cops stand back and watch it happen. They were very upset about it at the time. They've forgotten that. Here's what it looked like.
I believe there are several fires raging now down this street, and this is what you hate to see. There are people throwing fireworks, and who knows what else. It's just
the toll there. Now, we're not going to guess. We're going to go again right to the government. According to a recently released GAO report last month, during those attacks, the 2020 attack on the White House by left-wing mobs, we're quoting, Federal Protective Services, the Secret Service, and the Park Police reported at least 180 officers were injured during the demonstrations, including concussions, lacerations, exposure to chemical gas, and severe burning. So, while stipulating that all riots are bad, because precision matters, facts matter, the truth matters, here's the truth. More cops were injured by Kamala Harris's favorite mob, BLM, at the White House than were injured by Trump voters at the Capitol on January 6th. A lot more. So, again, to be clear, both events are bad, but here's the key. We only remember one of them. Why? Because the people in charge of history are liars. And your grasp on reality itself, and that's why they try to make you lie. They control you. They make you less of a person.
Control you and lie. Okay, tell me the truth then.
Also hurt individuals. We told you Monday about Navy veteran Jacob Chansley. He was tried by the media, convicted of being a domestic terrorist, and sentenced to 4 years in prison. What exactly was Jacob Chansley's crime?
Tell me what they really did.
Precise about that. Here's what the media told you it was.
In his horned helmet, fur pelts, and face paint, Jacob Chansley became known as the QAnon shaman. But prosecutors called him the most prominent symbol of a violent insurrection.
He's been in jail since January, and he's trying to get out. The prosecutors say he is still too dangerous to release.
Make no mistake, Chansley is a stone cold thug.
He kept saying, I'm not violent, I'm peaceful, I'm a shaman. But then you put those images, what you were just talking about, you put those images together, and that isn't an image of peace. This is the new face of extremism.
It's the new face of extremism. Jacob Chansley is the new face of extremism. He's a stone cold thug. Prosecutors say he is too dangerous to release. And most people believe that because why wouldn't they? They were told it, and there was no evidence to the contrary. And now there is evidence to the contrary. We brought it to you Monday. The video that we reviewed at great length over 3 weeks showed with precision what Jacob Chansley actually did inside the Capitol. And here's what it looks like once again. Here's video of Chansley in the Senate chamber. Capitol police officers take him to multiple entrances and even try to open locked doors for him. We counted at least 9 officers who were within touching distance of unarmed Jacob Chansley. Not one of them even tried to slow him down. Chansley understood that Capitol Police were his allies. Video shows him giving thanks for them in a prayer on the floor of the Senate. Watch. Contrast the reality of what Jacob Chansley did in the Capitol building on January 6th, the indisputable facts recorded on video, some of which has never before been seen, with the depiction of Jacob Chansley that you've seen in the media for more than 2 years. He's a terrorist, they said. He should be killed.
Shoot him. Shoot him. Like, you burst into the United States, if he was...
What was that taken? So, as the riot was going on, some of the cops started to kind of move people into an easier to contain chamber, because it is true that a lot of people went in like, we're just there to like protest or whatever. They didn't know what the fuck was going on, and police kind of like led them to basically different areas. And there were like 20 or 30 people that kind of got led into the Senate chambers. But this is after the whole building was already fucked. This is after the situation was already compromised. And the people that are trying to make it sound like that like the cops let them in and allowed them to go through or whatever. This is after they'd already broken in. The most famous example of this was black cop leads protester Jan 6 upstairs. This is probably one of the more famous examples, is where, so as he's going upstairs, right, this is like they're leading them through the building. Initially, he wants to go to the right here, and he wants to lead them through a door, but then he realizes, okay, so he's looking to his left. He's about to, wait, it might not be here. It might be up the next set of stairs. So I don't know if there are lawmakers down here, but he thinks about going this way. And then he goes a different way, and then he like pushes him, and then they're just like taking them to areas that are more easily defensible, right? By the way, if you watch like riot police do stuff like this, because look where they end up going, right? To where more cops are. If you watch riot police, they also do stuff like this. You lead people around into easier to defend areas or whatever. But this notion that on January 6th, it was all just people being led through.
Shoot him, shoot him. It makes you wonder, who are the violent extremists here? So as you saw, and again, details matter because this is a man. This is an American citizen, a Navy veteran. This is a human being. And so what he actually did should be of deep concern to every American because he's in jail tonight. What Jacob Chansley actually did was wander peacefully through the Capitol, shepherded by Capitol police officers who literally opened doors for him. When one was locked, they went to another. Dozens of officers stood and watched him. All of them had guns. Jacob Chansley did not. They never told Jacob Chansley to get out. The head of the Capitol Police today said he was trying to calm the situation. It was already calm. He was the only protester in the frame.
It was already calm?
They could have let him outside. They didn't. They helped him. We're not going to speculate as to why. We don't know why. All we know is what we see on the tape, and no one disputes it. We didn't cherry pick it. We didn't make it up. Once inside the Senate chamber, as we told you, Chansley said a prayer thanking God for the kindness of Capitol Hill police. And good for him, they were kind. This was not a domestic terrorist. And that matters. But what matters even more is the videos that we showed you after 26 months were not shown to Jacob Chansley's attorneys. That's a violation of the Constitution. And he's in jail because of it. Because the liars on the January 6th committee and the prosecutors who did their bidding. And that means Benny Thompson, and that means Adam Schiff, it means Liz Cheney. These people have this man's life on their hands.
I don't know what that means. I don't know if Tucker Carlson is ignorant of the legal system or if there was a special way that these trials were conducted. But prosecutor on the committee, the J6 committee is not a legal, that's not a legal proceeding. That's not happening in a court. That's not a judicial matter. If he was in court and information or whatever wasn't turned over or made available to him, that has to do with whatever federal court he was charged in and whatever prosecutor was going after him there. And that's between that. The J6 committee, I'm not aware of, unless there's some really super rare or special connection here between this federal court proceeding and what was going on in the J6. I don't know I have no idea what the connection would be between these two things. I have absolutely no idea what the connection would be here.
Who did their bidding. And that means Benny Thompson, and that means Adam Schiff, it means Liz Cheney. These people have this man's life on their hands.
There are lawmakers literally right there. Oh, wait, were there? Hold on.
In this security footage, you can see Officer Goodman running to respond to the initial breach. Officer Goodman passes Senator Mitt Romney and directs him to turn around.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, I haven't even seen this. Oh, Jesus.
Running to respond to the initial breach.
Hey, other way, dude.
Officer Goodman passes.
Or maybe I saw this, I forgot. I don't.
Senator Mitt Romney and directs him to turn around in order to get to safety. On the first floor, just beneath them, the mob had already started to search for the Senate chamber.
But anyway.
They helped withhold these videos from Jacob Chansley's attorneys. And that means the judge who sentenced Jacob Chansley, Royce Lamberth, never saw them either. And therefore, Judge Lamberth was able to say that what Chansley did was, quote, horrific. He apparently had no idea that Chansley was wandering around with the cops, walking through doors they opened and saying prayers for them. We're quoting, "You made yourself the center of the riot," said the judge. Really? He accused Chansley of, quote, obstructing the functioning of government. But that's not all what was happening. He was ambling through the Capitol, flanked at all times by armed cops who were directing his movement. Meanwhile, prosecutors of the DOJ, the real villains here, falsely, they lied in court, ambling through the Capitol, flanked at all. Really? He accused Chansley of, quote, obstructing the functioning of government.
Listen to what he says here.
But that's not at all what was happening. He was ambling through the Capitol, flanked at all times by armed cops who were directing his movement.
Ambling through the Capitol, flanked at all times by cops who were directing his movement. I didn't actually follow this guy, or I don't remember. How did he first get in? what is he called? Like Bullhorn guy? What was his first time getting into the?
We start with struggle images. Federal arrests include Adam Waltz joining us.
Him not only has Phoenix for Bears charge for Angeli said at Newsy.
I didn't do anything wrong.
QAnon shaman enters Capitol. Is there video footage of him entering for the first time?
Tonight, new video has been released in the case against the...
On the back.
We won the day.
Tonight, Jacob Chansley, the so-called QAnon shaman who wore a headdress and face paint and carried a spear inside the Capitol, has been called out by U.S. District Judge Royce Lamberth. The court today releasing 2 videos, which the judge believes back his assertion in court papers that Chansley, quote, blatantly lied during an interview with 60 Minutes Plus. This is what Judge Lamberth believes was a lie.
Police were waving people into the building.
Judge Lamberth believes this video, showing rioters breaking windows, then panning over to a shot of Chansley walking through a door.
This is March 16th, 2021. Tucker Carlson's video footage, or Tucker Carlson's video, is March 9th, 2023. This is 2 years later, okay?
He was ambling through the Capitol. Really? We're quoting, "You made yourself the center of the riot," said the judge. Really? He accused Chansley of, quote, obstructing the functioning of government. But that's not at all what was happening. He was ambling through the Capitol, flanked at all times by armed cops who were directing his movement.
Believes was a lie.
Police were waving people into the building.
Judge Lamberth believes this video, showing rioters breaking windows, then panning over to a shot of Chansley walking through a door, shows Chansley was lying when he claimed police waved him in.
And that shows you that this defendant, Jacob Chansley, has really angered this judge and has really compromised his own credibility in the mind of the judge.
Judge Lamberth had already accused Chansley and his attorney of doing that 60 Minutes Plus interview without the court's permission. Chansley's lawyer claimed they were not trying to be deceitful. Chansley has pleaded not guilty to 6 charges, including violent entry and disorderly conduct in the Capitol attack. Judge Lamberth recently ruled that Chansley is too dangerous to release and has to stay in jail pending his trial.
It's only a matter of time. Justice is coming.
One analyst says even though Chansley's not accused of violent behavior against others, his high profile as a symbol of the riot puts added pressure on prosecutors.
The prosecutors have to understand that the public is watching every move they make in this case, and so the notoriety of certain defendants is something they have to take into consideration, and they better make darn sure that they have charged these people appropriately and that they come away with convictions, including on Jacob Chansley.
This comes as the Washington Post.
And that they come away with convictions.
Like, bro, you're not even flying American flags. Like, this is fucking insane, right? What the fuck? What the actual fuck? Like, people will look at this and be like, 1776, Confederate flags and Trump flags. Well, I think they were probably just going there to make their voices heard. It's like, imagine being in a debate. And it's like, it's not like they had flags that they were flying saying, "I am an insurrectionist," as you fly literally a rebellion flag, a rebellious insurrectionist flag at the fucking, like, invasion. Like,
Meanwhile, prosecutors of the DOJ, the real villains here, falsely, they lied in court and said that Chansley was, quote, leading the charge into the Capitol on January 6th. They said he was, quote, the flag bearer for the mob.
Apparently he was one of the first people in, so...
A flag. He was alone. And of course the media picked up on this and amplified it as the DOJ intended. Fortune magazine disgraced itself by comparing the man you just saw to ISIS. They said Chansley had, quote, the zeal to possibly kidnap or kill officials. These aren't just lies, these are lies that destroyed a man. So no matter who you voted for in the last election, you could probably agree that sending someone to prison for 4 years on the basis of fabricated evidence.
Hold on, actually, fuck me. I should be saving every single fucking...
Tonight.
Is the most serious threat to civil liberties we could possibly face. And yet here's the thing. Leaders in both parties, the party that Chansley voted against and the party he voted for, have said nothing, not one word about the implications of this videotape. The implications not just for Chansley, but for our Constitution and our country going forward. Instead, whoa, how...
What the fuck was this? Wait, what day is this? What is this even from? Bro, this is like actual clown world shit. Was this during, where was this? Feds, all feds.
How dare you show this? What is clearly exculpatory evidence. And again, it's not just Chuck Schumer, it's Republican senators. Kevin Cramer, Mike Rounds, Chuck Grassley, John Thune, Lindsey Graham, of course, Congressman Dan Crenshaw, needless to say, Kelly Armstrong, all went after us. We're not whining about that. We don't care, actually. That just tells you everything. Tom Tillis and BLM superfan Mitt Romney, all weak men, and like all
this in a way that the police officers assaulted. I just don't think you're not
lies, and they buried tape that contradicted and revealed these.
Tucker Carlson ran a lengthy segment
to withhold evidence from Jacob Chansley's lawyer. How could that happen? Subscribe to the Fox News YouTube channel.
Okay, sorry.
Going to join the already hundreds, if not thousands of people now surrounding the Capitol and pushing ever closer. The Capitol has evacuated 2 buildings. The Cannon Building and the Madison Building have received evacuation orders, and the people inside have been told to move calmly but swiftly towards the exit and to notify their superiors that they are safe. Folks, this is this is truly incredible, and we'll continue to keep you updated here. Looks like Chuck Schumer now. No, it's still Adam Schiff. Still Adam Schiff addressing the crowd. And do we have audio of that stream? If we can bring that up and hear what Owen and Alex are saying.
This is history. I mean, literally.
Surrounding Alex Jones and Owen Schroyer and the rest of the InfoWars crew as they move towards the Capitol. Here we see a view from inside the Capitol of staffers there moving down the stairs following that evacuation order. McConnell has said, quote, if we overrule them, we damage our republic forever. Folks, the republic has been damaged. It now teeters on the brink of collapse. What we're witnessing here live is unprecedented in American history, and Infowars.com is the only place bringing you these videos. Stay with us, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, this is truly incredible. Alex Jones and Owen Schroyer at the head of a column of patriots moving towards the area where Donald Trump has just completed his speech to the Save America crowd there. My guess, upwards of 1 million people on the streets of Washington, D.C., already hundreds of thousands surrounding the Capitol, where inside the debate rages over whether or not to accept the electoral votes from the state of Arizona. This is just the beginning, and as the debate rages inside, outside, police are struggling to maintain the fury of the crowds as barricades are pulled down. Mace is sprayed back and forth, punches being thrown by both sides in what looks to be a... the beginning of something huge, folks. We are receiving video updates from independent reporters on the ground and across the entire country as a rally at the Minnesota State House in St. Paul has surrounded the Capitol building there. And again, Alex Jones and Owen Schroyer moving towards that Capitol with the rest of this massive crowd, which by the time Trump was still speaking, had already surrounded the Capitol building. 2 of the Capitol buildings have been evacuated, the Madison Building and the House Cannon Building, and both received evacuation orders. And the staffers there have moved towards the exit as the Capitol Police feel like they may not be able to maintain the security or integrity of their police line. Here we see applause taking place in the Senate. We've heard from Jim Jordan. We've heard from Steve Scalise. Now there's this scumbag, which I think something bad happened to him, so now everybody's sad for him. But let's not forget he's a traitorous scumbag in the end. I can't even remember his name, but frankly, I don't care to. Here you see in the bottom
Who is this guy?
The screen,
Who is this presenter on?
Staffers moving towards the exit. Clearly, they don't seem
I got the tweet for the Civil War
running. They're all moving slowly, looking at their phones or filming with their cameras. But still, this is an incredible event. And once again, it was a small fraction of the total crowd that was already at this Capitol building when the conflict began. And now the remainder of that huge, almost unprecedented crowd is moving towards
Vampire Stephen
as we speak,
Colbert.
as the debate rages inside. President Trump has apparently returned to the White House. That's the word that we're receiving from Washington. He said he was going to go to the Capitol, but it looks like he's gone to the White House instead. Many people on Twitter encouraging him to storm the Senate along with his supporters. And what we're seeing here are the independent journalist videos.
What did he say? What were the words there?
Supporters, and what we're seeing people on Twitter encouraging him to storm the Senate along with his supporters. And
encouraging him to storm the Senate along with his supporters. Huh, crazy.
And what we're seeing here are the independent journalist videos as Trump supporters move once again inexorably towards the Capitol building. The police seem to be scrambling, running back and forth, unsure which way to go. And Trump flags waving, American flags waving, Gadsden flags waving, and the joyous, upbeat atmosphere of the event earlier today has soured and turned to rage as the fury of Trump supporters and patriots across the United States overflows and expresses itself on the outside of the Capitol. It looks like Ted Cruz is now addressing the House. We'd like to get that feed as soon as possible. An aerial view provided by Fox shows the massive and ever-growing crowd.
Wait, I did debate this guy?
Why would they do it? They hate all things.
Oh, holy shit, this was so long ago. It was a live event.
Things natural and good, obviously. Exactly.
I had no idea. We had the most boring fuck debate topic in the world. What did he give us as a debate topic? I feel like it was horrible.
No, but anyways, this party is lit. I appreciate some.
Anyway, okay, sorry. God, fuck this guy.
Alex Jones continuing to move towards the Capitol there. One of the only issues that's preventing us from getting more live feeds is the fact that the sheer number of people overloads the cell phone towers and internet connections become inconsistent at best. But the massive crowd continues to grow. A U.S. bomb squad dispatch has arrived on the scene as well. We're not sure if that's because of a reported bomb threat or whether they're just there as backup, as it seems like the U.S. Capitol Police are struggling to maintain their cohesion as more and more people surround the Capitol building and push towards those Senate and congressional chambers, where, as we speak, objections are being made to the fraudulent vote that occurred in Arizona. 2 buildings of the U.S. Capitol complex evacuated, of course. And once again, it looks like the supply of videos has slowed down a bit. We'll keep pulling them in as we can. Oh, here we see Trump supporters running as they move towards the Capitol. It looks like these stands have already been erected for the supposed inauguration, which should be happening on January 20th. After you see some of the preparations being made outside the Capitol, and now being torn down by angry Trump supporters. This is a video from Drew Hernandez, who is on the scene, falling down as they're pushed and being pulled up by their brethren. Trump supporters scaling the scaffolding that's been erected to support the audience there during for the inauguration on January 20th. It looks like Ted Cruz has objected. Results. It's a joint session of Congress there, deciding whether or not to accept Capitol staffers evacuating as the Trump flags wave, the American flags wave, the Gadsden flags wave, and the Patriots move ever closer. We see police being helped away from the scene, perhaps injured, perhaps sprayed with mace, perhaps friendly fire of mace from his own side, getting back in his own eyes. We've seen mostly mace being sprayed from the police lines, but we've also seen mace being sprayed right back from the Trump supporters towards the police. And this is an ongoing situation as the crowd continues to swell, continues to surround the Capitol, and the police are struggling to maintain it. This is unprecedented, ladies and gentlemen. This is perhaps the focal point, the changing point, the fulcrum upon which the fate of the Republic rests. More senators and congressmen object.
The fate of the Republic.
Objecting police, it looks like, being escorted off, perhaps injured, being assisted by their fellow officers. We don't know if they have received a blow to the face or if they've been maced. What we do know is that the Washington establishment is scrambling any and all officers they have at their command in order to deal with this massive outpouring of anger, fury, and righteous indignation coming from the Trump supporters. You can there see we have the Fox News feed up, and even they are having trouble maintaining.
I just want to hear him talk about when they first get in. I want to hear him talk about them breaking in. I need to hear him say it. I want to hear him say it.
The integrity of their signal, and was speaking up, and we'll try to figure out what was going on there, whether rules were violated, whether she was prevented from presenting her case. But we'll continue to bring all of this to you up to the minute, and we'll get a live feed from the InfoWars crews there on the ground at this crucible moment, as General Flynn put it. Folks, I've been plugged once, but hey, in the last 15 seconds of this segment, InfoWarsStore.com is what is supporting all of this, everything that we're seeing here, reporting that you will not get anywhere else on network TV, on the internet. Nowhere else is bringing you this type of material and the video straight from the Capitol. This is those in the distance as they move towards Capitol. And once again, inside the Capitol building right now, a debate is raging as to whether or not to accept this fraudulent election.
Wait, hold on.
What was it? I mean, I've lost track of time. I think it was less than an hour ago that President Trump finished his speech, and that massive crowd of hundreds of thousands, probably upwards of 1 million people surrounding the Washington Monument and all the way to the White House, finished watching that speech by President Trump and moved towards the U.S. Capitol. And by the time that here we see an update from Ilhan Omar. Currently, the Capitol buildings are locked down and everyone is sheltering in place. Hey, so look, that's where Ilhan Omar is, everyone. Just kidding. Massive crowds. Yeah, you can see those in the distance.
Just kidding.
As they move towards Capitol. And once again, inside the Capitol building right now.
I've never seen so many feds.
A debate is raging as to whether or not to accept this fraudulent election. On live TV, Newsmax reporter ordered to the Capitol basement due to a bomb threat near the rotunda. Again, we think that was not a legitimate threat, as it was called all clear, and the evacuation was a legitimate threat near the rotunda. The debate is raging as to whether or not to accept this fraudulent election. On live TV, Newsmax reporter ordered to the Capitol basement due to a bomb threat near the rotunda. Again, we think that was not a legitimate threat, as it was called all clear, and the evacuation orders were rescinded. Trump supporters have been.
He's pointing out where Omar is. Yeah, that's what I just joked about. Yes.
To disperse, but it doesn't look like they're going anywhere, and we're seeing more and more destruction taking place. Rioters have injured a Capitol City police officer in front of his compatriots. We think that
Patriots.
To me, it looks like something got in his eyes. It looks like perhaps he got pepper sprayed. May have been friendly fire, or it may have been. Oh, and here we have Carolyn Bremen. View from inside the Capitol as people gather on the west front. The Capitol is currently on. Angry Trump supporters aware of the fraud. cognizant of the betrayal that is being carried out at this very moment inside the Capitol building. They continue to push forward, reorganize, regain footing, and move ever forward. Once again, folks, the communication networks are completely overloaded with the sheer mass of people, so getting any first-hand information about this is...
The communication networks are overloaded. Like, man, imagine like not being able to communicate with your cell phone when all this is going on. Imagine if people planned in advance to have two-way radios that they could use to communicate with each other, knowing that there'd be so many people, knowing that cell phone communication might not be reliable. Crazy, huh?
Going to be difficult, but we'll continue to bring as up-to-the-minute updates as we possibly can. And cheers of USA, USA, U.S. Capitol on lockdown began. We don't know if this debate will be, of course, crisscrossing like spider webs throughout all of D.C. down or anything like that. This is simply a massive protest that is refusing to stay quiet any longer, that is making themselves known, that is not stopping at the barricades, not kowtowing and adhering to the police who have betrayed us time and time again, but instead are pushing forward to take over what is, at the heart of it, our building. It's our, as Americans, this building belongs to us, this Capitol belongs to us, and it is being stolen from us at this very minute live. And the American people are attempting to prevent that from taking place. Once again, I don't believe...
the American people are preventing that from taking place.
That the people inside the Capitol building are concerned about this whatsoever, at least in terms of their safety or anything like that. If anything were to happen, if the doors were to be breached, they would be evacuated rapidly. They'd disappear into underground tunnels and be moved to a safe house far out of harm's way. So we aren't too concerned for them, but we'll continue to...
Far out of harm's way? What do you mean out of harm's way? Donald Trump said that Santiago was not to be touched, and you said that people always follow orders because, no, not Eyes Wide Shut, fuck.
Of Colonel. You snotty little bastard.
Fuck, where does he say it? Crystal.
Colonel, I have just one more question before I... And your orders are always followed.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I call airmen.
I don't know why I don't know why they would have to go out of harm's way. What do they mean by harm's way?
Colonel, I have just one more question before I call Airman O'Malley and Airman Rodriguez. If you gave an order that Santiago wasn't to be touched...
To march peacefully.
And your orders are always followed. Then why would Santiago be in danger? Why would it be necessary to transfer him off the base?
It was a peaceful march.
Santiago was a substandard Marine. He was being transferred.
That's not what you said. You said he was being transferred because he was in grave danger.
That's correct.
You said he was in danger. I said grave danger. You said, is there
I recall what I said.
I can have the court reporter read back to you.
I know what I said. I don't have to have it read back to me like I'm...
Like two orders. Colonel?
Sometimes men take matters into their own hands.
No, sir. You made it clear just a moment ago that your men never take matters in their own hands. Your men follow orders or people die. So Santiago shouldn't have been in any danger at all, should he have, Colonel?
You snotty little bastard.
Sorry. Keep you updated and bring you videos just as soon as we get them. Ladies and gentlemen, this is history being made as we speak. Capitol on lockdown. The Capitol Police over the radio are heard to say, we have lost control. I repeat, we have lost control. From Elijah Schaffer, breaking. Trump supporters have breached all security barriers and are now actively destroying and occupying the Capitol building.
Trump supporters have breached all security barriers and are destroying and occupying the Capitol? But I thought they were let in. Why would they have to breach the barriers?
I repeat, the feds have lost control of the Capitol building. A revolution is in progress.
A revolution? A revolution. That's a word that you could use. Huh. Crazy, huh?
This is not a drill. Trump supporters breaching all security barriers and are now actively destroying.
Yeah, is this glowing brightly to anybody else right now? Is Elijah a Fed?
Occupying the Capitol building. This is incredible. 2 buildings of the U.S. Capitol complex evacuated as Trump supporters clash with the police. Flashbangs being fired over the front lines into the crowd of Trump supporters, but it seems like those attempts to prevent the onrush of patriots has failed. These security barriers have fallen one by one, and the Capitol is now being occupied and, according to Elijah Schaffer, destroyed by patriots. We're seeing live feeds from Fox News as the crowds continue to swell, continue to grow. The American flags continue to wave as the patriots move towards the United States Capitol building and continue to occupy it. Here we're seeing a live...
Wait, what's this? What's going on here?
View from inside the Capitol building, perhaps from a staffer, as they look at the thin line, the thin barrier of wood and glass separating them from hordes of angry Americans. U.S. Capitol on total lockdown certification vote has been.
I thought it was the mag lock doors were left open. I thought a cop came by and let them in.
As protests continue to erupt, the Senate has adjourned abruptly. Vice President Mike Pence has been rushed off the Senate floor. Trump supporters have breached the U.S. Capitol building. We're seeing images within the halls of Congress and within the halls of the Capitol of Trump supporters who have breached those doors. 2 Capitol Hill buildings have been evacuated by the USCP, and we're also hearing that the private residences on Capitol Hill are being evacuated as well. Senators, the vice president, the congressmen, now no doubt making their way towards the security of the underground tunnels to escort them away from the threat of their supposed constituents, angry, furious, and now venting that frustration on the system that has betrayed them time and time again. This is just incredible, folks. You're watching
The Threat.
InfoWars. This is the Alex Jones Show. Alex Jones is right now at the...
Who else besides InfoWars? Was OAN doing live coverage of this event? God, you could make it unbelievable before and after. Who else was doing live coverage of this? Was Fox News doing live coverage of the event? They must have been, right? I'm curious what hosts they had.
Seen. They're sort of on the edge. We are receiving intermittent streams from them as the cell phone networks are overloaded and information becomes harder to come by. What we know is that Alex, but they are truly incredible. DC is now in control of the Patriots as an officer of the United States Capitol Police. Radios the phrase, "We have lost control." I repeat, we have lost control. Protesters now inside the Capitol building, those marble staircases being trod upon by patriots who are raising their hands, showing they are peaceful, yet they aren't going anywhere as one after...
Saying they're peaceful as they break into the fucking Capitol to stop, to circumvent the election. It's a peaceful revolution, guys. It's a peaceful revolution, right? Why do I know? Why is it that I have in my mind? Why do I have this picture more in place in my mind than anything that was said on January 6th? Why is this in my mind more than any of these other quotes? Fiery, but this was a joke. This was a stupid fucking report. I think this was Kenosha. And, you know, rightfully, they get blasted for it because this was stupid. But as they hold their hands up and peacefully have a revolution.
After another, the security barriers have fallen. VP Mike Pence evacuated from the Capitol building. Trump loyalists storm U.S. Capitol, tear gas deployed. Few arrests made. The police have lost control. Barricades torn down. Buildings evacuated. The press has been moved to the basement as they scramble to avoid the on-press of millions, at least I would say, my estimation, 1 million Trump supporters having moved from throughout D.C. and are now converging on the Capitol. This is revolution in progress. This is a major historic moment in the history of the United States. It is a privilege and an honor to be here sharing it with you and bringing you updates just as soon as possible. We're getting information you will not get anywhere else. We are any other network, mainstream or otherwise. Here we see, okay, now we have a battalion of neon-shirted police. The backup has been called. They're moving slowly but surely towards the Capitol, but it may be already too late. The doors have been breached. The Patriots are inside. The Senate has ceased debating because the vote has been paused. The vote on certification has been paused, and the entire building is being evacuated.
Huh, crazy. They've obstructed a government proceeding. Huh, isn't that interesting that that's kind of like the whole goal of an insurrection was to obstruct, was to resist federal law, resist the implementation of a particular law, resist the Electoral Count Act in order to, at the very least, obstruct the proceeding, if not cancel it entirely. Crazy how it actually worked and it was successful. It's not even an attempted insurrection. It was an insurrection. It was, and it was successful. They did exactly what they did. The coup attempt failed, though, for whatever reason, because we had God Emperor Mike Pence standing between us and oblivion.
Folks, we've seen it for 4 years. We've seen the anger of the left. We saw it under Kavanaugh as the protesters who fell for the lie time after time again screech and claw impotently at the door. We've seen 6 months or more of violent protest burning down entire cities, aimless, pointless destruction being wrought across the United States by liberal and communist agitators, all to the point of trying to tear down our system. Now we see not the system fight back, but those who love America fight back. Patriots now taking over the entire Capitol steps, continuing to wave the American flag, the Gadsden flag, the Tree of Liberty flag, the Trump flag. They've taken it over. It is done. This is what happens when Americans rise up. This is what happens when patriots do what the communists have been trying to do for so long. Again, this is not an impotent, pointless, nonsense protest based off misinformation like the death of George Floyd, who killed himself.
Oh, it's not an impotent, pointless protest. So there's a reason they're protesting.
With fentanyl, or Jacob Blake, who just yesterday was proven he was armed and dangerous when police rightfully took him down, or the lies of Brett Kavanaugh for 4 years. We've seen the outrageous and yet impotent lashing out of leftists throughout America. And for the first time, it seems, after having shown patience of that of angels, the Americans, the Trump supporters who've seen their lives destroyed, they've seen their businesses shut down, they've seen the lockdown perpetuated all across America, destroying our economy, surrendering to China over and over again, stories that expose the corruption and the underselling of...
True. Patriots do what communists have been trying to do.
To communist China, to other foreign powers.
What have they been trying to do?
Ignored, have been suppressed, have been shut back without so much as a whimper in protest. But finally, they have pushed too far after stealing whimper in protest, have shrugged and taken the blows on the back without so much as a whimper in protest. But finally, they have pushed too far after stealing our last resort. We always knew in the back of our minds, in the back of our heads, we had the numbers, we had the will, we could, through the electoral process, maintain some semblance of control over what is supposed to be our representative democracy, our republic. Well, they stole that from us. They took away the final lifeline. They destroyed the final pressure valve. And now the rage of the American people overflows as patriots storm into the United States Capitol, waving Trump flags, waving American flags, waving the Gadsden flag, taking over the steps, pushing through the doors, and forcing an evacuation of our representatives as they halt the vote counting process. Where this goes from here, only time will tell. We'll continue to get updates, videos, images, and breaking news from all over the internet here. We're getting it all from independent sources, independent reporters who are providing us with on-the-ground views, sometimes even within the Capitol, as it looks like the press moves away and retreats as more and more Trump supporters and patriots pour into the Capitol. We have a tweet from Donald Trump 1 minute ago. Mike Pence didn't...
Oh my God. How were these tweets? Oh, this is actually... Fuck Fox News and fuck the shit York Times. This is the only video we need. I don't need the New York Times and like the cuck presentation. I want to see what a glorious patriot, what a glorious who thinks he's on the precipice of entering a new world post-rebellion. I want to see what he said. This is all we need. The first Trump tweet is being presented. What do they always say about these Trump tweets? When Trump tweeted, he was basically telling them to go home. He was telling them to be peaceful and to go home and to not do anything. That's what Trump was saying, right? Okay. Now, I haven't actually watched this video, so maybe he's about to say, maybe we should go home, guys. Maybe we need to go back because Trump says, maybe he will say that. Let's see. How was Trump's tweet received at the time when he tweeted?
Didn't have the courage to do what should have been done to protect our country and our Constitution, giving states a chance to certify a correct set of facts, not the fraudulent or inaccurate ones they were asked to previously certify. U.S. demands the truth. And here we have Alex Jones in front of the Capitol. Do we have audio on this?
So as the building is being stormed, as they're being evacuated, right? As we've already got video footage of violence happening, right? Was this Trump's first tweet? Pence has failed us. Huh. Interesting.
Crowds of hundreds of thousands everywhere. They took the scaffolding stage that's being set up that Joe Biden says won't use if he's installed on the 20th. Trump says he's going to get there's massive evidence of fraud that's going to come out. We've all said we want to be peaceful. We like the left and shoots cops and burns down apartment buildings and fire departments and police stations and things.
Trump 100% knew of the violence when he tweeted this? Absolutely he did. He's the president of the United States. He's the highest authority that can call the National Guard to D.C. Because it's federal grounds, right? It's not a state, it's not a governor or whatever. He is the highest person here. He absolutely knew what was going on. Yes. I believe, what time did he begin watching TV? Was it like 1:37? What time was this tweet? 1:25. When did he make the Pence tweet? So it's at 2:24. Trump tweets, Mike Pence didn't have the courage to do what should have been done to protect our country and our Constitution, giving states certified, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So he tweeted this at 2:24. He'd been in his room, I don't think it's the Oval Office directly, watching on TV for about an hour, I believe. He started watching at 1:25, and then he tweeted this at, what was it, about 2:25? 2:24. So he'd been watching for about an hour.
And run around terrorizing America. That's the left. That's Antifa. That's BLM. But Americans are mad. And so when they stage elections in Venezuela, or they stage
Alex Jones, more on the other side. The Capitol has fallen. The Patriots are in control. Ladies and gentlemen, history is being made as we speak. This just in, as of less than a minute ago, Rotunda door has now been breached. Capitol Police say Trump protesters surge into the building. That's according to Disclosed TV, who shows an overhead shot of this massive crowd moving towards the Capitol. We're seeing shots from inside. Now, the Trump protesters, here's shots from inside. Now, you can see the glass there and the wood door. I believe this is the eastern door of the Capitol. And you can see the protesters asking the people inside, hey, push the door open, push the door open. Not even attempting to break the glass, not attempting to cause trouble or to cause damage, but rather trying to get the people inside to act as patriots themselves, open the door, and put an end to this farce of an election that we've been witness to.
Put an end to this farce of an election.
This entire time. Truly incredible stuff. Darren JBD on Twitter says the FBI should take a knee to show respect to the MAGA protesters. Yeah, maybe if Black Lives Matter was there, the police would be on our side. Instead, the police have fallen back.
What's talking about only Pelosi having authority to call the National Guard? It's all misinformed bullshit. I think it might be the case that I think Pelosi might have the authority to direct some of the local security in the House of Representatives or something. There's like a local congressional security police force or something. But the Capitol Police would have been under the DC mayor, which was, I think Bowser might have been the ultimate authority figure on that. And then the DC National Guard ultimately is under, it goes Trump, Milley, and then somebody else under him, I don't remember. Oh yeah, I think Pelosi's highest commanding person that she could command, I think, was like the sergeant at arms or something.
Chambers have been evacuated. The vote counting, the certification of the electors has been suspended for the time being as they deal with the fact that protesters are now within the Capitol. Here we're seeing physical combat taking place inside the Capitol between the pillars, mace being sprayed, punches being thrown, protesters going head-to-head with the Capitol City Police, who have fallen back to inside the building and are attempting to prevent the onslaught, the onrush of these Trump protesters. Now, before the debate was ceased, McConnell had said the election was not stolen, as Trump says. McConnell claims there was no massive collection of fraud. McConnell says Congress can't make itself a board of elections. Amazing, isn't it? Absolutely amazing, the utter failure of the Republicans to wield any sort of institutional power at the behest of or to the benefit of their own people. The election fraud, as enumerated earlier today by Donald Trump, is in the millions. The provable ones is at least the hundreds of thousands. He pointed out the hundreds of thousands of people in Detroit, in Georgia, in Michigan, and Minnesota, and elsewhere of non-registered voters, of registered voters who, more votes than registered voters. In Detroit, you had 139% votes. I mean, this doesn't make any sense. This is incredible. This is nonsense. And yet it goes unopposed by the Republicans with the power to do anything about it. They instead abrogate that power and refuse to exert their constitutional authority, instead wanting to do anything they can to simply get rid of President Trump so they can get back to the stout of the American people, the continual undermining of our heritage and our nation, and the continual and make no elsewhere, just the sheer crowds all over for the time being, at least the steal has been stopped. We have a waving American flag.
They were successful. What did he say?
For the time being, at least the steal has been stopped. We have we're no longer counting the votes, no longer debating the certification. It has all ground to a halt. It has all ceased.
Crazy that they had signs saying stop the steal, and now the steal has been stopped. It's almost like it's the most obvious fucking thing in the world. It's almost like it's literally the most obvious plot in the world, where everybody's just saying out in the open exactly what they're doing, and nothing here is actually that hard to understand whatsoever. On the day of.
Continue as the lawmakers and the other Capitol Hill staffers flee in fear of their safety. 2 buildings of the U.S. Capitol complex were evacuated. Flashbangs have been launched into the Trump protester lines. The barricades are being torn down. This is just another peaceful protest, folks. These Trump supporters are just ideas, after all. I say that in jest, obviously, but supporters are just ideas. This is just another Trump protester lines. The barricades are being torn down. This is just another peaceful protest, folks. These Trump supporters are just ideas, after all. I say that in jest, obviously, but...
Is that a V for Vendetta reference? I think it is, right? Because these guys are all obsessed with that fucking movie.
You know, if you really think about it, so far, nothing's been burnt down. No innocent people have been knocked out and then kicked in the head while they lay on the pavement. This has not scratched the surface of the type of violence, chaos, and destruction that we've seen wrought across this entire nation for an entire year without the slightest hint of protest from the Democrats. In fact, they support them. They join them. Right now, what we're seeing is not George Soros funded. This is not people trained by the Communist Chinese like Black Lives Matter leaders admit to being. This is a natural, spontaneous event being carried out by Trump supporters from all over the nation. We also have incredible images of the Michigan State House, outside of which a massive wooden cross has been erected as a symbol of...
Wow, not like BLM or Antifa, just a natural...
defiance to the satanic pedophile network that has slowly but surely captured each and every institution that governs this once great nation. Truly incredible stuff. Do we still have that feed from Alex Jones? Alex Jones and Owen Shroyer are live on the scene. We're having trouble getting connected to them because of the overwhelming number of people has, as I said, overwhelmed the cellular networks. Down any of our period of this becoming bloody or violent, unless, of course, the police start to flash back and push back. Here we're saying, I mean, just incredible images or this becoming bloody or safety in D.C., where they can be secreted away, ferried away to safety. I don't have too much fear for this becoming bloody or violent, unless, of course, the police start to flash back and push back. Here we're saying, I mean, just incredible images, folks. This is a day that will go down in history. We're seeing...
because they thought it was going to be a successful go. Fuck these people. Maybe we'll watch more of this video tomorrow, but... Okay, I love you guys. I'll be back tomorrow. Be careful. Reverend Cappuccino. Jesus Christ.